In the early hours of December 7, 1941, the tranquil waters of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, were shattered by the roar of aircraft engines and the thunder of explosions. In a meticulously planned assault, the Imperial Japanese Navy unleashed a surprise attack on the United States Pacific Fleet, anchored at what was thought to be a safe harbor. Over 350 Japanese aircraft descended upon the base, targeting battleships, airfields, and military installations. The devastation was immediate and immense. 8 battleships were damaged or destroyed, over 180 aircraft were lost, and more than 20,400 Americans were killed. Japan's leaders believed that this bold strike would cripple American naval power in the Pacific, buying them time to secure vital resources across Southeast Asia and fortify their expanding empire. Their strategy hinged on the hope that a decisive blow would demoralize the American public and force the United States to accept Japan's dominance in the region. For months leading up to the attack, diplomats negotiated in Washington, even as Japanese forces secretly prepared for war. When the bombs fell, the world changed in an instant. Yet what Japan's high command failed to anticipate was the effect the attack would have on the American spirit. Instead of sowing fear and hesitation, the assault on Pearl Harbor unified a divided nation overnight. Across the United States, shock and outrage turned swiftly to resolve. President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress the following day, famously declaring December 7th, a date which will live in infamy. Congress responded with a near-unanimous declaration of war against Japan. Isolationist sentiment evaporated, and millions of Americans rallied to the cause, determined to avenge the attack and defend their nation. The consequences for Japan were profound. Rather than buying time, the attack galvanized the United States into action. America's vast industrial capacity was quickly mobilized. Factories that once produced automobiles and consumer goods shifted to manufacturing tanks, planes, and ships at an unprecedented rate. Within months, the United States began to rebuild its Pacific Fleet, and soon American war production would dwarf that of all the Axis powers combined. The sleeping giant, as Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto is said to have described the United States, had indeed been awakened. The war in the Pacific would be long and brutal. Battles raged from the jungles of Guadalcanal to the beaches of Iwo Jima, with both sides suffering immense losses. But the United States, fueled by its industrial might and the determination of its people, steadily pushed back Japanese forces. The attack on Pearl Harbor, intended to be a masterstroke, instead sealed Japan's fate. The very act meant to secure their dominance ensured their eventual defeat. Pearl Harbor stands as a stark lesson in the unintended consequences of war. Japan underestimated not only America's military potential, but also the power of national unity in the face of adversity. The attack transformed the United States from a nation wary of foreign entanglements into a global superpower, committed to victory and the defense of democracy. It marked the beginning of America's full-scale involvement in World War II, a conflict that would reshape the world order for generations to come. Today, the memory of Pearl Harbor endures as a symbol of sacrifice and resilience. The sunken remains of the USS Arizona rest beneath the waves, a silent reminder of the lives lost and the events that changed history. The lesson is clear. Sometimes the greatest mistake in war is not in failing to strike hard, but in failing to understand the resolve of those you strike against.